I love water. I love looking at it, kayaking on it, smelling it, being around it. I have spent my whole career focused on water, so you might think that I was going to talk about water today. But I'm going to talk about how water connects us. First, I'm going to talk about another experience that I had in my life that helped me understand our connections to each other in a more personal way. In 1998, I gave birth to triplets. Right after they were born, they were 5 weeks early, and right after they were born, they were separated from each other, put into incubators, and rushed off to the neonatal intensive care unit. My daughters were doing fine, but our son was really struggling to breathe. He would have episodes of apnea where he would just stop breathing, almost as if he was forgetting that he needed to do that. And so after 5 days of just recurring and repeating episodes of apnea, our team decided to put him in between his sisters. And once he was in the middle, back where he was for the last 8 months, he remembered that he needed to do that. He started breathing all the time, all by himself. It was as if he needed their presence next to him to feel connected to his sisters, to remember that he needed to breathe. And it was almost like the girls were kicking him and reminding him, come on, Simeon, let's do this thing so we can go home. So after they put him in between the girls, he never stopped breathing again. And they still, to this day, have a really special bond. And the sisters still are very protective of him. So we're also connected as a community in all kinds of different ways. One of the ways that we're connected is through water. It's a precious and finite resource that we all rely on for life. 71% of the earth is covered with water, but only 1% of that water is available for us to use as fresh drinking water. As a water utility leader, I think all the time about how we're connected to every household in our service area through the water that we deliver every day, 24 hours a day. I want to tell a little story about a woman named Beth who works for the Division of Public Utilities here in Columbus. Beth is a Class 4 water treatment plant operator. A Class 4 is kind of like having a PhD in water treatment. Beth is amazing. She's been working in the water industry for 40 years, and we're so lucky to have her at the Dublin Road Water Treatment Plant. She leads a group of operators and technical folks to deliver over 80 million gallons of water a day to the central part of Columbus. She feels connected to our community because of that connection that she has, creating clean drinking water for all of us. Recently, I asked Beth what was notable about her 40-year career as a water plant operator. And she said she's so proud of working, in particular at the Dublin Road plant, because of all of the innovation and technology that we've invested in to deliver that water to the city. This is the sewer maintenance and operations staff at the City of Columbus. These folks have a really hard job. They're connected to all of us in a different way. They maintain and take care of our sewer collection system. When there's a backup or a line break or a flood event like we had on May 20th in 2020 during the height of the pandemic. It was an uneasy time in the city, and there was a rainfall event that caused widespread flooding throughout Columbus. With floodwaters threatening the southern part of the city, our SMOC team, and you can see that they're all masked up in this picture, rushed to put up the Franklinton flood wall to protect the southern part of the city. We had been keeping our crews separated from each other, and they didn't even think about it. They all joined together to protect the 2,700 acres of land, homes, people, businesses that would have been devastated by that flood. And then over the next 24 hours, they responded to 3,000 calls across the city as well. Finally, I want to talk about Fong Chang. Fong is an engineer at the Division of Sewers and Drains who came to the United States in 1999 to get her PhD in civil engineering at Ohio State. She leads our system-wide sewer capacity model, and Fong was also the 2022 Engineer of the Year for the City of Columbus. The work that her team does for the Division of Sewers and Drains helps us to plan for all of the growth that is happening in Central Ohio. They also help us maintain our operations throughout the collection system, protecting homes just like the SMOC team does, but in kind of a different way. The planning that her team does helps us understand where we need to grow our collection system to support growth in Central Ohio, including the work that's coming with Intel and everything associated with the Intel expansion. When Fong first came to the United States, she felt very disconnected from the community, even in China, because of going back and forth. So she created connections here in the community as a big sister, through Big Brothers Big Sisters, and also as a volunteer instructor within the capstone program at Ohio State. So I ask you today to think about who in your life might need a nudge to help them to remember to breathe. And I ask you also to remember what your connection is to water as we take care of that precious resource. Thank you.